You're going to love this. Trust me, what you're seeing now is my normal state.
Welcome, I'm Spaghetti Ken. If you take a look into the code of Touhou 6 USD, you will find these characters, which means Satsuki Rin, or Rin Satsuki. In terms of the advertising for USD, Touhou games always come out at Comic-Hits, right? In the case of USD, it was Comic-Hit 62. And for a Comic-Hit, there's a catalog that's released, and each circle participating gets a picture or two featured for their work. In the case of USD, one of them was this, a sort of mysterious unknown character we have not seen. Looks sort of similar to Marissa, but it's a black and white picture. And then she also has a bit of a shrine maiden kind of outfit, like Raymond. Given that the character Rin Satsuki in the files of USD appears close to Raymond and Marissa, it is believed that these two are one and the same by most people. Some people think this was maybe a cancelled design for Rumia, but that's the minority opinion at this point. I should also mention this picture right here, which is from 2001, before USD came out, and it looks remarkably similar to the same character in that circle cut. And in terms of what Zune has to say about it, it's quite revealing. This is actually what his notes on it. I was thinking about making a new character, and turned out this mysterious blonde shrine maiden. She looks like Marissa cosplaying as one, lol. It's done in a more classical style. There are still a lot of primary colors, so I should try to layer them some more. I seemed to fall into this mindset while drawing this, with little funny emojis. This picture is from 2001, so before USD came out. And, seems to me to be kind of a promo for what Rin Satsuki would have been, and we even have Zune just saying it outright. Thinking about making a new character, and again, sort of similar to a blend between Reimu and Marissa almost, which I think is quite interesting. So, in terms of my thoughts on Rin Satsuki. Rin Satsuki, this has been known in certain circles for quite a long time. Some people who are new to Touhou, like, oh, who is this? Never heard of this, blah, 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 right? But if you've been in the community for a while, you've probably heard of Rin Satsuki, you probably know about this. I think Rin Satsuki is really cool. I think it's kind of a shame that we didn't get Rin Satsuki. We didn't get a third character in Touhou 6, because having a new character would have set Touhou 6 apart, I think, and from PC98, rather than just bringing back Rainbow and Marissa. I mean, it was good bringing them back too, but I don't know, I just think it would have been more fresh. Having that third character would have been a different element. In terms of how she played, we obviously don't have much indication. There is a part of the code that has a mention of flower sign and wind sign, which are presumably what her spell cards would have been referred to as. Her name as well, Rin, is associated with a kirin, and there are associations with that, with, say, healing, or, white mage healing classes, or nurses in, say, Final Fantasy. I remember in Final Fantasy VI, kirin is what gave you your first healing spells in that game, although that was the US translation. I'm not sure if in the other translations it's still translated as kirin or kirin, but nonetheless, that's one example off the top of my head I can think of. And then there's also this throwaway line in the extra stage of USD about a nurse. So some people think maybe that was originally meant to be referring to Rin Satsuki. It's anyone's guess. So maybe she would have had healing powers. Maybe her species would have been a Kirin. Like she would have been a Kirin Youkai. Maybe. We don't know. But nonetheless, she seems to be sort of in design, kind of a blend between Reimu and Marissa. So maybe in personality she'd be something of that sort, somewhere between them. It's very interesting. But yeah, in terms of Rin Satsuki, other than a bunch of fan art and fan theories and so on, there's been some good fan works out there. People have made fan themes for Rin Satsuki out there. So take a look. You might be surprised about some nice content. Some older than you'd think, some newer than you'd think about Rin Satsuki. And yeah, I just think she's interesting. And I love all the fan adaptations out there that include her, because even though she's not the third protagonist of Touhou, I feel like she kind of would have fit that role very well, because after USD, really the only other characters we see are just villains brought back, made playable. So Sakuya, Yomu, Raisin, Sane, so on. And that's fine, whatever. I mean, Peace 98 did that too. Mima, Yuka, right? But I don't know. Again, Rin Satsuki, something about it. I just feel she has potential, and I just feel like that potential kind of wasn't realized. So it's a bit of a shame, in my opinion. The last thing I'll bring note to you is actually a tweet of someone who asked Zune some questions. This was in 2023, so more recent. And Zune basically just kind of reveals it. Kind of reveals what we were all thinking for a long time and kind of just spells it out. So, question is, how do you pronounce Satsuki Rin? I think this maybe is a slight mistranslation of it. Says Saizuki Rin, but Satsuki Rin is how we usually translate it. And then Zune says, no, that one. I was planning to release it as the third protagonist right up until the very last minute, but I ran out of time. I even drew the artwork properly for it, but yeah, that was just a scrapped character. So that's what Zune has to say about it. So he drew the artwork for it, intended up until the last minute for the character to be in there, etc., etc. I'm pretty sure the fans have made the right conclusion about this character over the years. So yeah, that's Rin Satsuki. For me, definitively settled. Well, about as definitively as you can get. So that's really all I have to say about Rin Satsuki. So yeah, I've been holding polls on my channel about who is the true third protagonist or whatever, definitive third protagonist of Touhou. And I'd like to see what people have to say on their thoughts on Rin Satsuki, if they think she is more legitimate than others, even though she didn't get in. I think she has a fair shot. I think she's up there, honestly. But yeah, with that said, I'm Spaghetti King. Farewell, and I love you all.